for WWE for life. How long do you think the Nexus storyline will last? I actually asked Dave Meltzer this on his radio show. He said WWE doesn't even know when it ends. WWE is probably going to keep it going until, it keeps being high, until it loses steam. And honestly, I have to agree. WWE does not want to end the storyline prematurely. Their ratings are going up. They are getting more 3.4s and 3.5s when they were getting 3.1s, 3.0s, 3.2s. And I think SummerSlam is going to do a really good buy rate compared to previous SummerSlams. I thought the right place to end it would have been Survivor Series. I mean, it made the most logical sense, 7-on-7, but then WWE went ahead and did that for SummerSlam. I don't know. What can I tell you? I wish someone would have asked me this question. Will Bryan Danielson eventually get re-involved with the Nexus storyline? And I was thinking about this, and I think he actually might. I mean, I doubt. While the crowd still does chant Daniel Bryan at certain shows, The Miz did say this. Yes, for all you TNA marks who think it's all ROH fan, The Miz himself said almost every show he goes to, he hears at least one Daniel Bryan chant. So, yeah. I think he might come back into the storyline if it goes that long, if he comes back to WWE. Which leads me to actually it's not next, but it's a future question. Are you planning on seeing the movie Piranha 3D, and do you think it has potential to be a great movie? It looks kind of dumb in my opinion, and I'm getting sick of the 3D already, but I don't know, it might be okay. And what do you think is Matt Hardy's best feud? Is it Matt Hardy versus MVP, Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, or Matt Hardy versus Drew McIntyre? I actually think it's none of those. I think it's Hardy Boys, Edge, or Christian Dudley Boys, but if you want a singles feud, Matt Hardy versus Edge. That was the peak of Matt Hardy's career. That's when Matt Hardy was the most interesting. I mean, it did revolve around the real-life storyline, but that's when his character was the most serious. He looked like a badass. That's when his match, the cage match with Edge, was awesome. That might be my favorite cage match in WWE history. I don't know. I really love that cage match. His street fight with Edge on Raw was awesome, very underrated. His ladder match with Edge was great, in my opinion. So yeah, that was Matt Hardy's best singles feud. Will Bryan Danielson return to the WWE? I think he might. This is the other ones were from Multi Eddie 19. This is from HLRC Nation. I think he might. His option. All the options are still on the table. I think most likely he probably should go back to WWE. Randy Orton himself said that he thought Bryan Danielson was very talented, and it was unfortunate to see what happened to him, and he hopes Bryan Danielson is back soon, which I think is another positive sign. Vince McMahon fired Bryan Danielson himself, not John Laurinaitis. Vince McMahon has had John Laurinaitis fire every single wrestler that's been released from WWE. Think of every guy, upper mid-card or main event that's been released from WWE the past 10 years. John Laurinaitis fired them all. Vince McMahon went out of his way to fire Daniel Bryan. So that should tell you something. I mean, yes, the circumstances were horrible, but still, WWE likes this guy. I think if he doesn't go back right away, I still say he will be there eventually. Do you think Chris Jericho could stop using the line saw because he usually misses the move? 95 Metal Boy. Nothing gets the move for Jericho. You rarely see him hit it successfully. He does it okay, in my opinion. I think personally the best person that does it is Lince Dorado. He's the one that should keep doing the line saw, but it adds to Jericho's arsenal. And so, I think by misses, I think he means like botches or doesn't perfectly hit it because he's not as agile as he was back in '99. But hey, it works for him. Who should take the Campeonatos de Parejas off the BDK? The most obvious answer is Quackenbush Jigsaw, but I do not want to say that. Another obvious answer is the Colony. Again, I don't want to say that. I was reading on the Chikara message boards, and I can't guarantee this, but it is true that the only team to have 3 points is Mike Quackenbush and Stigma, because Stigma. So if they wanted, Stigma could maybe get beaten down by the BDK and come back as Shane Storm, and he and Quack can do that. Whatever. That's just a possibility, but most likely, it could be the Colony, Quackenbush, Shingo, or maybe even someone out of the ordinary. Knowing Chikara will probably be a team that none of us expect. So in that regard, I'm just looking forward to it in general. I trust Chikara. We'll see what they do. A7X Fan 2010. How long do you think The Miz will keep the briefcase? For a bit. I mean, I know people say that he's going to cash in at SummerSlam. I don't really think that's going to happen. And I do think they want to keep this going for a while. I don't think that teasing him cashing in every week is a good idea because it loses interest in this angle very, very quickly. I almost lost interest in it when they did it on Monday. I thought it was lame. I mean, I liked how they did it with Orton coming in, but I thought the simple fact they went to do it the second week in a row, we're all just like, okay, we know he's not going to do it. We're just looking for how he's going to fail, which is never a good thing. Will he win the WWE title or not? He might, depending on how long they do it. If he cashes it in within the next month, I think he won't. But depending on how long they do it, I think he'll win the title. Do you think Naoki Tanizaki will turn on World 1 and join the Deep Drunkers in Dragon Gate? I will honestly admit that I do not know anything about the current storylines in Dragon Gate right now. I mean, I know a good portion from what I saw from Kobe, what I'm going to see from their Infinities from now on. So I really can't answer this question, unfortunately. Will he turn on World 1 and join Deep Drunkers? Maybe. That's my answer. And I know AJ Orton sent that just to do that, to piss me off like that. What do you think ROH, Nico the Unique asked a lot of questions, what do you think ROH needs to do to elevate them to a level of TNA, and what do they need to do to even surpass TNA? Well, they need a better TV deal. I mean, that's a given. The pay-per-views, while they were getting more buys having their pay-per-views on TV than live on the internet, live on the internet, I believe they're more profitable in that sense. But, eventually the live on pay-per-view is going to have to happen. Won't be a while, though. Maybe not that long. But yeah, better TV deal. And I think in the end, they just need to be, once they get that appeal, people need to see them as the true alternative, which they are. People need to see what they saw in TNA 2004, 2005, that spark, that energy, that chemistry that brought them to TNA. They need to see it in Ring of Honor, the wide masses of people. So even with all this stuff, until like a good portion of people feel the spark that this is different, that this is the alternative to the crap they usually watch on television, that I think is when finally Ring of Honor will get to the level of TNA. I do not know if they will surpass TNA while TNA is still in business, because TNA has Bob Carter keep funding no matter what. Who do you think is the next indie breakout star? By that I mean who will break out from what they are now to super indie stardom, like Davey and somewhat Jon Moxley? I really like this question, by the way. As much as I really don't want to say it, and it's the classic G1, it's going to get all on my case saying, aha, you're right, I was right. I do think Eddie Edwards just has the most potential of any of the guys on the roster to be the next super indie star. I do think he is that good, and I do think he can make it happen. But also, I could say the more obvious answer and say Kenny Omega, but facts are I really do not know. No, I do know his commitment right now. It's shit, his commitment to American wrestling. So, there you go there. As far as like the Evolve, Dragon Gate, as far as Gabe's side of things, I could really see Chuck Taylor breaking out more than he has already for Evolve, and maybe being used more and more, which maybe will get Gabe to turn to a nicer cheek to the Chikara roster. Who will beat Tyler Black, Kings of Wrestling, and Eddie Edwards for their respective belts? Tyler Black, I think it's going to be, most likely it's going to be either Daniels or Roddy, but I think it should be Daniels. Kings of Wrestling, I've said this before, I personally think the Kings of Wrestling will and should lose the titles in the Ultimate Endurance match. My prediction is whoever wins Block B. All Night Express, if Cabana and Generico win, I definitely think they're going to win the titles. If All Night Express win, it's close. The Briscoes have the best chance, but I so desperately do not want the Briscoes to win the titles. And I don't know if All Night Express are ready. They're ready as a great tag team. Are they ready to be considered legitimate to beat down the Kings of Wrestling? Not yet. Not in my opinion. So yeah, like I said, if Cabana and Generico beat All Night Express, I do predict, bold prediction, that Cabana and Generico will win the titles. And Eddie Edwards, not that big of a deal. I mean, Eddie Edwards is, whoever beats Eddie Edwards won't be that big of a deal. I mean, I think Eddie will keep the belt for a little while. I don't think he'll lose it until he's ready to be fully in the main event scene. So whoever takes it from him, I'd prefer it to be someone from the wrestling school. But if they need like a mid-carder from Ring of Honor, or an upper mid-carder, just to do this at every show, then if I had to pick one, maybe some guy like an Eric Stevens or a Colt Cabana or someone like that, who, the fans don't really buy as a main eventer, no matter what. I mean, no matter what you do with Colt Cabana, he's having the world title match. You can look at the boards, you can look at the forums. No one believes Colt's going to win, and most people don't buy the DVD because of that. So yeah, two of those, one of those two, I guess. Name 5 guys ROH should hire and 5 guys they should fire. Hire Eric Cannon, the Cutler brothers. There are 2. I don't know if that counts. I would rehire Jigsaw, but do it right, not with the crap that Gabe did with him in 2008. Hire has become a full member of their roster. I would also make Kyle O'Reilly that love guy once Davey leaves, because I think I think Kyle has a better chance of going after the next Davey. Not that I think he's going to be the next Davey, but it's from a gimmick perspective, it would be better for him than it would for Eddie Edwards. Because I kind of want Eddie Edwards to go on his own path. And if he does the whole Davey version 2.0 thing, he's still going to be in Davey's shadow, which I don't want. So yeah, Kyle O'Reilly, Eric Cannon, the Cutler brothers, and if I had to pick one more, I guess I would say maybe a guy like Chuck Taylor, if he evolves. I'm sorry, I really, really, really like Chuck Taylor, but that's just me. And 5 guys they should fire. Necro Butcher, I'm kidding. Sheik Abdul-Bashir or Daivari, it's just he's not really doing anything right now in Ring of Honor. His character isn't appealing to me, and I really don't think he's necessary on the roster. He rarely appears at the shows. Sorry, I think they should fire him. I think they should, I don't want to say the Necro Butcher, but it's just out of all the guys in the roster, Necro Butcher would be the guy that I don't think they would lose that much from. I guess maybe Ernesto Osiris, but does that really even count? And then from then on, it's really, really hard. They have a really, really, really good roster. I'm actually looking at the roster right now. But I don't think they should fire Grizzly Redwood. Shane Hagedorn. Fuck yeah. Shane Hagedorn. So Shane Hagedorn, Ernesto Osiris, Necro Butcher, Sean Daivari, if he's even an active member of the company, which I don't think he is. And get Sugarfoot out of there. Why not? Sorry, Sugarfoot. Okay, next we have, long time in this Q&A. Sorry, guys. Which Bryan Danielson vs. Austin Aries match is the best in your opinion? I have not seen their Testing the Limit match yet. I've seen the end of their Survival of the Fittest match, but as far as straight one-on-one match, my favorite is probably the Final Countdown to Chicago. I liked it a little more than their Nowhere to Run match. Which Nigel vs. Bryan match do you think is the best? Unified, my personal opinion. And I actually think the Glory Bonner 8 match is a close second just because of the build-up to that match, the emotion in that match, both the guys' last match in the WWE, the 2 biggest guys in Ring of Honor's last match against each other, which was the biggest feud in Ring of Honor history. I think that's Ring of Honor's match of the year, almost by far. As much as people say how good Kenty Davey was, you just don't have the emotional investment that you do in a match like you did with Nigel Bryan compared to Davey Kenta. Which ROH star would be the best will make the best transition to the WWE? I guess Aries maybe, but his style again toned down a lot. On the mic though, I think he could be a guy like The Miz who might be at the mid card for a while, but he can kind of get himself over. And if not him, then maybe the Briscoes can get over it if they do all their again toned down, but their style's been toned down enough anyways within the last 2 years that I think with their athleticism, kind of like Evan Bourne, who got his move over when he wasn't necessarily over. With their awesome wrestling, I think in that sense they can kind of get themselves over. Age of the Fall 1 asks a lot of questions. Who do you think is more disappointing to see, Paul London or Brian Kendrick? I don't know what that means, but Paul London's a better wrestler, so I'm going to say Brian Kendrick. Do you think El Generico would be good in Chikara? He was in Chikara for a few dates, and he was very good. Why does TNA suck today compared from 02 through 07? Shoddy booking. Not enough focus on the younger guys. Keeping the old guys in the main event. Shitty storylines. Basically, why a wrestling company is not doing well. TNA will give you all the reasons why. What is your opinion on IWA Mid-South? Haven't seen much. I saw TPI from 2004. That's about it. They went out of business. They came back. Actually, me and a few people on Skype saw their reunion vid, a show they had, where literally 10 people were in the crowd. So yeah, gotta feel bad for them. Do you think that Death Match Wrestling is sick? I haven't seen much from CCW. The way Big Japan does it, I like. Sid Rape My Cat X, that's my friend Elton, who asked the most interesting questions. What are your thoughts on ICP? I don't really follow them that much. I've heard a few of their songs and I've liked them. What do you think of the current state of mainstream music? Again, not a big music guy. There's some songs I like, just from various styles. I really don't listen to the mainstream stuff that much. I really more listen to the older music. But, all the pop shit, the constant radio replays, as long as it's on the radio, it must be a great song that we hear over and over and over again from various artists, ranging from Justin Bieber to Lady Gaga. Not liking it too much. Do you think Marilyn was a conspiracy? Nope. Thoughts on the show The Jersey Shore? Never seen it. Sorry, man.